So my typical day is getting my two beautiful but teenage boys up and out the door and not late for school. And if they are late, then I have to quickly race them down before I get to rehearsals. And if I'm not rehearsing, I'm working on a development of a new script. So have to be in front of a computer at a certain time. So the day is always really busy, and then taking them to all their millions of activities, and myself working nights, doing a show if I've got a show to do that night, getting home very late, usually around midnight, and then starting it all again the next day. So there is a balance in my life, but it does, we walk a very fine line of chaos as well as order and joy. So HydroSkin fits into my daily routine very easily because it is so simple to follow. So the 3 steps are great. I know that after I've washed my face, it's A, B, and C, and I love that. And I also really like the ritual of it. It fits into my life because I know that it's twice a day, morning and the evening. They're the 2 constants that I know. I wake up and I go to sleep, and it fits in perfectly with that very simple life routine. So being in a rush pretty much all of my life and having to get out the door really quickly, it takes me no time at all. It's like 90 seconds and very easy, quick, something that really fits in well with my life, because if it's too much of a process, there's no way I would constantly keep doing it. So the results have been so obvious to me, and it hasn't taken very much time at all. It's basically happened over 2 months. I could already, when I first started using it, I could see the change. And by the 3rd month, I was seeing people actually looking at me and asking me what I'd done. So it was, it's very evident and very obvious. No, I'm not a stare at the mirror kind of person at all. I'm pretty much a tomboy. I love being out in the garden. I'm sort of not that interested in over grooming because I do it as part of my job. It's sort of, unless I'm getting paid for it, there's not much point. However, I have been quite excited and interested just to see the change in my skin, and I've noticed it. So it does work. The nature of my career really affects my skin majorly because there's many late nights, there's very heavy, stage makeup is incredibly cruel to skin. Of course, there's celebrations, so you're drinking, there's lights, you're constantly, under severe heat from the lighting, so you've got makeup, sweating, so it's very so stressful for skin. And also at the end of the night, sometimes the last thing you want to do is really clean your skin thoroughly and properly, unless it's easy. So I will come home, and no matter how exhausted I am, I know there's the 3 simple steps that all I have to do is do it. And in the morning I'll wake up and I won't feel like, oh my God, my skin's falling off. So HydroSkin has been a huge saving grace. It's been a very interesting ride being a live performer. So that's why it's fabulous that I have so many different strings to my bow. So I'm pretty much able to work consistently, but you do have many highs and lows. You go from incredibly well-paid jobs to sort of eking out, trying to do many, many little jobs to sort of pay your mortgage. So it's not without stress. I think my favourite part is the rehearsal, and it's the play making of it. Performers, the creatives and it's such a naughty space, and it's really irreverent, and you basically go to a playground for your job, and everyone's like these grown-ups, these adults, pretending to be people like you did when you were a kid. It's hilarious. And my other favourite thing is the audience. I just like no matter how nervous I am, when I get the first reaction of an audience, you just feel this electricity of this beautiful communication that's happening between the monster in the dark, which is what the audience becomes, this one big being, and you have this beautiful conversation, this kind of psychic conversation as you're revealing a story to them. I'm doing a fabulous show looking for Alibrandi, which goes for a few months, first in Melbourne and then comes back to Sydney at Belvoir Street and Malt House in Melbourne. And it's a show that I worked on 20 years ago when it was a film. I worked as a cultural advisor on it and met all the actors and helped audition the actors. And it's this beautiful irony that now I've come back and I've been working on the adaptation of the play and about to do it 20 years later. So in terms of skin, it's going to be very interesting to see. There is footage of me working on the audition panels. There's photos of that, and it'll be interesting to see now as I'm playing the mother role of the lead actress, to see the difference of my look. I was honoured to receive the Humanitarian of the Year award with a beautiful play that I made over 3 years with the African women's community called the Borkham Hills African Ladies Troupe. And it was a really special and poignant production with these really strong, beautiful, incredibly brave group of women, and also African performers. So there was professionals and community members. And these 5 women inspired me and taught me so much about life. And we made this beautiful masterpiece with their stories that they so generously shared, and they were incredible survival stories. Toured around, went overseas, and there's a documentary that's been made about it. And then at the end of it, we were awarded, the creators were awarded for it we were receiving the Humanitarian of the Year award, which was one of the best awards. I've received, Best Actress awards and a Queen's Trust award, but that, I think, topped it. I grew up typical Italian Australian household. So we were in the suburbs of Adelaide, but mum and dad, had a massive block where they just grew every bit of vegetable, very self-sustaining. We had chickens, pigeons. We even had a goat for a bit, yes, in the suburbs of Adelaide. And the household just throbbed and thrived in the kitchen. So that was the heart. And we would be eating lunch or discussing what we were going to have for dinner. There was lots of family, lots of food, lots of love. And pretty much I've tried to imbue that in my much smaller garden in Redfern. So I've tried to fit as much as I possibly can in this small bit of garden, lots of greens, herbs, chickens, and our household also lives around the kitchen. My boys love food, all sorts of food. My husband is a fabulous cook as well, so we often fight about who's how to chop garlic and who's going to cook. And it's nothing more that I love than feeding my chickens, feeding my children, feeding my husband love, and the kitchen is the most important place, definitely, in our house. HydroSkin's philosophy is fabulous as well. Their ingredients are pure, simple, effective, and also they're recycling now their packaging, which is fantastic. And there's a great attention to detail. And I think the fact that they understand people's lives are very busy, they have made it very simple to use. And the price is very reasonable. So my advice to women is to be yourself, really. anyone that is themselves and backs themselves and loves who they've become and is aware of their history and aware of it showing on their face, and there's a love for it and pride for it, I think is very attractive. And in terms of beauty, I think there's nothing more beautiful than people that hold an inner smile. And when you sort of invoke laughter, it is the cheapest form of cosmetic surgery. I think beauty is people being playful. That's sexy, I think.